Call him a nigger, the child?
The fuck you talking
Did you
about?
call the child the nigger word?
None of your fucking business.
It is my own business. You call him a nigger? Okay, why don't you have the boss to say it right now again?
Fuck you, nigger.
All right, we're not going to waste any time. I'm not going to waste your time. Appreciate y'all tapping in. Let's get straight to the video. Today, we're talking about this Shiloh Hendrix situation. I'm not sure if you're familiar with it. Apparently, there was a lady that I saw the title come across. Maybe a lot of y'all did as well, where it was saying like lady calls kid the N-word and makes $500,000 on one of these GoFundMe fundraising sites. I think hers was Give, Send, Go. We are going to get into everything about it and perhaps everything centered around it and why situations like this continue to become more and more polarizing, radicalized, and extremely divisive to our country. And I think that that is what the real elites are looking for. All right. They have been trying to stage a race war, in my opinion, for a very long time. They've been trying to stage a race war, and I believe it's for a bunch of different reasons. It's we'll look at a video later on where they talk about how the gladiators in time of Rome, they used to create these gladiator games. And of course, it was for entertainment purposes, but it was also to serve as a distraction. All right. It's a distraction so people won't pay attention to politics. People won't pay attention to who's in power, the powers that be. All right. If you're just doing so much infighting, then you're spending time hating each other, going against each other, competing against each other, seeing each other as two different teams rather than the two different teams embracing each other and then calling out for the elites to make certain changes that they want in society. So what is the easiest way to get people to hate each other? What is the best way when you're arranging a boxing match or something? Put the black guy against the white guy, right? You know, it's that type of thing. And it's been prevalent in our society for a very long time. They tried to do it with George Floyd. It seems like they were feeding the fire with, and I'm talking about both sides, extremists on both sides. So whether it's the George Floyd, the Black Lives Matter, whether it's the current situation or the recent situation with Austin Metcalf and Karmelo Anthony, where you got extremists on one side calling Karmelo Anthony a hero, and then perhaps you have extremists on the other side who are ready to, condemn all black people or black culture, which in that particular situation, I think we already did a video on Nick Fuentes, the things that he mentioned. I made my opinions very clear on that end. I don't want us to lose focus. All right, let's talk about this particular situation. I'm just trying to set the table so we can be aware of they seem to be stoking this fire, why they want a race war, who's feeding into it, and how eventually it may get to a point where we trick ourselves into getting into a race war when it's at our own detriment. All right, so let's get into what actually happened. I already rambled on for so long. I already have everything queued up for y'all. All right, so take a look at this video and let me know your thoughts.
Call him a nigger, the child?
The fuck you talking
Did you
about?
call the child the nigger word?
None of your fucking business.
It is my own business. You call him a nigger? Okay, why don't you have the boss to say it right now again?
Fuck you, nigger.
Okay.
Nigger.
All right, that's what you say.
You don't go digging through people's shit, you dumb fuck.
Nobody dig into your shit.
A little fucking kid just did, you dumbass.
That little kid, you call him a nigger?
Yeah.
The little child?
What if he acts like one, he's gonna...
Are you about to hit him? You chase him here?
He took my son's stuff.
So that gives you the right to call the child, 5-year-old, a nigger, the N-word.
If that's what he's gonna act
That's
like.
what you're gonna call him.
That's what he's gonna act like.
You know, that's a hate speech. And you can be recorded for that.
I don't give a shit.
Huh.
Fuck off.
Okay, we'll see about that, what the internet has to say about you.
All right, so, and it finished off with something that was very telling, and I heard Jason Whitlock talking about this as well. At the end of the video, what did he say? We'll see what the internet has to say about that. Hold on, let's listen to that last little clip.
Fuck off.
Okay, we'll see about that, what the internet has to say about you.
We'll see what the internet has to say about you. Now, I'm not blaming him for having that response. Not blaming him for having that response, because that is how things work right now in society. Well, I'm going to put you out there and we're going to see what the internet says about you. these moments that are getting caught on camera, some people don't understand that they're feeding into them. And not to say that this gentleman was feeding into it, but this is just how things work. Just like there's certain people that jump out there, that the Benjamin Crumps and the people that want to take advantage of and feel, let me be very clear. When I say take advantage, people like Ben Crump that want to jump out there and they, oh, so a cop killed a black kid. Oh yeah, we can make some money on that. Oh, the Chicago black kid killed another Chicago black kid. Oh, no, there's no money to be made on that. We don't need to talk about that. George Floyd, yeah, we can make some money off of that. Oh, Trayvon Martin, we can make some money off of that. That's just how a lot of these race baiters move, in my opinion. These are just my opinions. Cool. So when you have him saying at the end of the video, we'll see what the internet has to say about this. He may just be sitting there trying to put her on blast to show how arrogant and ignorant this woman is behaving. Insensitive, asshole, whatever word you want to use, racist, cool. But in all actuality, it's just feeding into what the powers that be have been trying to create for a very long time, in my opinion. They've been brewing this racial war for a very long time. Things almost went over when it came to the George Floyd situation. And perhaps the only reason why the George Floyd situation didn't boil over is because everybody was able to see it and it had a lot of compassion or empathy and sympathy from, let's say, white people in America. But I don't think it's an understatement to say that white people in America are becoming pissed off. White people in America are becoming pissed off for being blamed for everything. Every single problem that somebody black has, every single problem that maybe even some other minorities have, it seems as if we're calling out, blaming white people for it. And I don't even think it's black people. It's people that want to take advantage of black people. It's the Democratic Party. It's the liberals. It's a lot of these groups, the Black Lives Matter groups. These groups, they prey on black people's emotions and manipulate and bamboozle us like they've been doing for a very long time to get us to crash out and see things only one way rather than to see the big picture, to get us to react and triggered emotionally. They want to trigger our emotions rather than triggering our logic. They want us emotionally invested. So therefore, the more we have emotionally invested, the less we have logical. That's just what's happening. So you have these groups that want to convince us that, oh, you're a victim and you're a victim to all these white people, white supremacy, the people, even if they're weren't living during slavery, even if their family wasn't even here during slavery, they still benefit from white supremacy. They did, and they may. But what I'm realizing is that white people are getting pissed off at being blamed for everything. White people feel as if, and this is just, my interpretation or my understanding, my observations, but white people are getting to the point where it's like, yo, y'all keep pressing us to blame everything on us. Eventually, we're going to get pissed off and not care when a woman like Shiloh does exactly what she does. Eventually, you're going to push people to the point to not care. Just like, now I'm not comparing the two and saying that they're the same, but I will compare the two to make this point. Just like there were people jumping out the window saying that Karmelo Anthony is a hero. Now, feel however you want to feel on the Karmelo Anthony versus Austin Metcalf situation, but to throw the title of hero out there for Karmelo Anthony without really knowing what happened, right? It's all speculation at this point. They haven't gone to court. Yeah, he's presumed innocent until guilty. Cool. But to call the man a hero, to me, radicalizes the situation, or only somebody who has been radicalized already and who is extremely triggered emotionally would say something like that. Because if the shoe was on the other foot, it wouldn't be, you get what I'm saying? So that's just the situation that we're in. I wrote down a couple notes and I was thinking about, if we reacted, like I always think about if we reacted how maybe our ancestors reacted, how our grandparents, great-grandparents. And that's something that goes on in the Black community, I feel like, where we say, like, you listen, we're not our grandparents' generation. We're not our parents' generation. Now, I say that regarding the Democrats and liberals aren't going to finesse me. I'm not my parents. Y'all not just going to keep feeding me this BS and these empty calorie sandwiches and then act like I'd be starving without y'all. You see what I'm saying? So that's kind of how I look at it. But other people may look at it and say, I'm not taking the stuff that my grandparents used to take. Cool. But I think what we also gave up was a bit of logic, a bit of emotional intelligence, to where we think that we need to react and put ourselves in a crash out position, in a negative situation that is detrimental to us mostly, compared to even the people that we're looking to harm. It's like somebody calls you an N-word. Somebody called me an N-word. It would be very hard for me not to react in a certain way. I don't know how I would react. Maybe it would be easy. Maybe it would be hard. I don't know. Depends on my mind state. Depends on maybe what happened that day. Depends on if the elevators took long, getting down. I don't know what it would have been, but I hope that I would react in a mature way to not jeopardize my life or put me in a bad position just because I feel I need to get some get back from some asshole calling me the N-word. That's the chess, not the checkers. Oh, but it's like somebody calls you the N-word, you crash out, you beat them up. Now you got to deal with all this court stuff. You got to deal with all this other stuff. You're late to work. You got to explain all these different things that come up. Was it really worth you proving or trying to prove a point by beating somebody up or by getting pissed off to that particular person? Maybe it was in your mind. I'm just asking. Is it really worth getting that level of get back for what you have to now deal with in your own personal life, somebody that doesn't even matter in your life? I don't know. I guess it comes down to what we're willing to lose, what we're willing to risk. So the question that I initially was trying to bring up was, back then, now I'm not justifying, let me be very clear, how people were called certain words before. But perhaps, like a lot of situations, the pendulum swings radically, right? It swings, it's over here. We want to get it back here. But typically when the pendulum, when you let go, it just goes over here. You can't guide it to the center, right? So this is what I'm seeing that's happening. But yeah, overall, I think, they've been trying to brew this race war. I think the NAACP, I think black churches, I think there's a lot of organizations, Black Lives Matter, a lot of these activist groups. It's like if they solve these issues, these racial issues, then they're no longer needed. You know what the NAACP is? If the NAACP got all of their problems solved, if they had a list of 10 wishes that they want to be fulfilled by America, and America fulfilled those, you know what the NAACP would turn into? An organization that nobody needs, an organization that nobody's motivated to donate to. People who work at the NAACP would make less money, if any money at all. That's what would end up happening. They would pretty much finesse themselves out of a job. They would solve a problem, and finesse themselves out of a job in a lot of ways. Now, I think that would be a great finesse. You solve a problem, done. You no longer are needed here. Now you can go solve another problem. But that's not how most of these people are looking at it. So let's look at what has happened now more recently. So since this situation occurred, I had to go on. I couldn't believe that this lady raised that much money. But then when I thought about it, I guess I could. So I want to highlight. Hold on. Let me see if I can show this. I'll go small. All right, there we go. So this is the fundraiser that Shiloh put together. Look over here. Her goal is $1 million. She's raised, as of, hold on, let me refresh this page, 668. Since we've been on this video, since I first pulled this up, she already got $2 more thousand. $668,133. $668,133. And let's read what exactly she put in the caption. Hi, my name is Shiloh, and I've been put in a very dire situation. I recently had a kid steal from my 18-month-old son's diaper bag at a park. I called the kid out for what he was. Another man who we recently, might as well just write it on there. Shoot, write it on there. Another man who we recently found out has had a history with law enforcement proceeded to record me and follow me to my car. He then posted these videos online, which has caused my family and myself great turmoil. My social security number has been leaked. My address and phone number have been given out freely. My family members are being attacked. My eldest child may not be going back to school, even where I exercise has been exposed. I'm asking for your help to assist in protecting my family. I fear that we must relocate. I have 2 small children who do not deserve this. We have been threatened to the extreme by people online, and anything will help. We cannot and will not live in fear. This is what's happening. It's radicalism on both sides. It's people buying into this is going to go left. I'll tell you, when I say people buying into, people buying into things that they otherwise would never buy into, but because they feel that their side is being taken advantage of, they've lessened the standards of the people they need to align with in order to fight against the other side. What am I talking about? I have some people in my family and friends, older women. When I say older, I mean the next generation, my parents' generation of women that grew up and raised me in a way and conducted themselves in a way where ladies don't curse, ladies are polite, ladies are elegant, all day, right? But they love Jasmine Crockett. They say she has fire. And y'all may be thinking, like, why is he even bringing up Jasmine Crockett? What does she have to do with it? She's taking a couple punches. It's not the Jasmine Crockett. It's what Jasmine Crockett has bought into. And how that buy-in is coming out in her behavior, where she feels that she needs to be cursing, acting ghetto, putting on this fake persona in order to appeal to a group of individuals that she wants to support her. That's what's happening. So the ladies in my family who carried themselves with elegance and class, they are so pissed off now and feel that they have nothing else to turn to. They've lowered their standards as far as how women need to project themselves, or to present themselves, I should say, in the media, on the news, being politically correct, all these different things, they've thrown that out the window. And that is just an example. And it may be a small example, but maybe you've seen this in your family where people compromise their standards. The more people compromise their standards and allow people to push things on their team, be a part of their team, and they embrace them as their team, even though otherwise they would not, that is when that pendulum swing just swings and everything becomes more and more radicalized. All right. So you have these few people on polarizing opposites ends of the spectrum, right? But they really benefit from each other, because the more extreme this group gets, the more this group on this side can rally the troops and be even more extreme. And then it keeps bouncing off of each other. And the people in the middle feel that they have to choose a side. So when an Austin Metcalf and Karmelo Anthony situation happens, I feel, oh, I now got to choose a side, or I'm not black enough. I'm not standing on business. Or the white people, they feel like they got to choose a side. They got to just come out, not only choose a side, but they got to say certain stuff and rally the troops and say, we're tired of black people and black culture and all that stuff. That's what happens. So then, of course, in response to this, what do you have? You have the NAACP putting out their own fundraiser on GoFundMe. Help us seek justice for a 5-year-old facing racial hate. Now, I heard that this isn't even a picture of the actual 5-year-old. So it's funny that you use the actual picture of the lady, but then you have to use a fake picture of a father being affectionate with his believed to be son, I guess. And they've raised $341,000. See, they're on the same team. Shiloh and the NAACP, they'll present it a bit differently, but they are on the same team. Don't be confused. They are on the same team, because the more racial division that's pushed, the more extremism that's pushed and radical ideologies, the more Shiloh's able to make, and the more the NAACP's able to make. They need each other. Meanwhile, the people in the middle are being torn to pick sides and are going to be forced into this racial war that makes life uncomfortable for Americans overall, and perhaps is the first step and the quickest step into leading to the end of America in a lot of ways. As we know it, perhaps, and maybe some people will cheer about that, maybe others will get upset. But they are trying to create a racial war. They're trying to create a racial war. It just is what it is. Let me play this clip. There was a clip that I wanted to show you guys. It reminded me of, all right, so this is the ancient Roman clip that I was going to play for you guys. Let me share this tab for you guys. All right, take a look at this. Take a look at this and let me know your thoughts. But these are the games. This is what it reminds me of. All these distractions that are coming in.
Did you know? In ancient Rome, gladiatorial fights were staged not just for entertainment, but also to distract the public from political issues. Emperors used these games to gain popularity and control. Did you know? In ancient Rome, gladiatorial fights were staged not just for entertainment, but also to distract the public from political issues.
To distract the public from political issues. That's what's happening. The same people, see, we think that it's different people that, oh, the Democrats versus the Republicans. The people, when you follow the money, the same people that give money to the Democrats, they give money to the Republicans. Those elites, the ones that pay for, and when you see these politicians, when they get out of office, they have all this money. The people that have real power that can line up the pockets of these politicians, which in my opinion is why they get into it. Power, money, same thing, influence, ego, all these different things. It mostly comes down to greed. They want more. You know, they're upset that they didn't get the respect that they felt that they needed in high school, or they feel like they can leverage their power to gain. It all comes down to the same stuff, to feed your ego. It's not to be a good citizen and help the American people, in my opinion. So when you have something like this, distracting from political issues, and then when you follow the money and realize, like, hold up, the Democrats and Republicans are supposed to hate each other, but why are they both taking donations from the same people? It's no different than a prize fight. It's what is the promoter of the fight? They're going to tell you, hey, Floyd Mayweather versus Pacquiao, they hate each other. You know, Conor McGregor, they hate each other. They can't be in the same room together, right? But then when you actually look at the documentary, they're like walking past each other in the airport. Like it's a lot different than what they're trying to present, but they have to present this hatred. They have to present it to sell the fight, right? To keep people distracted, all these things, to keep people engaged. This is what happens when it comes to all of these racial divisive issues.
Emperors used these games to gain popularity and control.
The NAACP, this says emperors used it to create, to build popularity and control. What did the Democrats do? What does the NAACP do? When is Black Lives Matter at their most powerful? When George Floyd dies. Oh, it's on camera. Oh, they got the knee on his neck. Yeah, Black Lives Matter is up there. They're influential. When is the Democratic Party most influential? When they can convince people that you are oppressed, that you are a victim, and it's because of that group over there. And the only way that you'll have a chance of being successful and being able to win against them is to go through us. These elites want people fearful, out of shape, and ignorant. Those three things. If you're scared, if you're unhealthy, and if you're ignorant, that's how they want us. That's how they want us. So we're just in a bad position, and hopefully more and more of us don't get fooled into choosing sides over a lot of this stuff. Don't get fooled into becoming super emotional over it. And one lady that called one boy the N-word. And the worst part about it is you see how many people donated money to this and showed how pissed off they are and how warm that concoction of stoking, whatever concoction they have of trying to create a race war. They're stirring it up. They're stirring up the concoction, and it's getting ready to boil over. And I hope it doesn't boil over when this video eventually comes out of the Austin Metcalf situation with Karmelo Anthony. But I'm nervous. I'm nervous. And when you convince everybody, and when everybody feels like a victim, then people's egos, they're leading with their ego. I'm not willing to take a step back because they're not taking a step back. And then you just have a bunch of aggression, and it doesn't lead to anything productive. It only leads, in my opinion, to the destruction of humanity, perhaps. So you guys let me know your thoughts. Am I being too soft? Am I being an Uncle Tom? What else am I being? What else am I being? Tell me what I'm being, so that way I can educate myself properly to see it how you see it, because I'm sure you're right. All right. Let's wrap it up there. Please like, subscribe. And as always, give me your feedback. Give me your feedback. Leave a comment. Maybe I'm off about something. Definitely help me. As long as it's respectful, I'm always, and even if it's not respectful, I try to bring back the energy, respectful. But let me know. I'm not going to be always right on certain things, but I still want to voice my opinion and voice my perspective on certain things. So that way I can learn, and hopefully we can all build and learn as a community. And on that note, I'll see y'all soon.